Good evening, this is BelGeode and we are back with some more DoveTail Games Flight Sim World and another mad scientist experiment. Alright, so tonight is going to be pretty much a bit of a catch-up episode because there have been a number of updates that have come out since the last time that I did my experiment. Most notably, updates 7 and 8 we're going to be going through tonight. Now, the other thing that I'm going to be doing, I did make a promise to DoveTail Games that the next time that I did a video, it was going to feature one of their stock aircraft. And I just so happen to have a really good friend who's helping me keep that promise. So we're going to get into that in a moment. I'm sure you can already guess which aircraft it is that I'm in, but we'll go through that in a second here. Alright, now, we are here in Jamaica, so the flight plan is a little bit off. I've been having some issues with that. We are actually at Tinson Pen, which is MKTP, and for tonight's flight, our test is going to take us north to MKBS, or Boscobel, better known as Ian Fleming International Airport. I think that should be a nice quick trip for us, and it'll give us just enough time to figure out whether or not our tests are going to be successful. So yeah, there we go. Alright, but with that having been said, we're going to go ahead and hop into the sim right now and we'll get started. Oh, and I will also mention that head tracking is back in the game. I'll be explaining more about that in a moment, but for now, let's hop outside this aircraft and we will see exactly what we're going to be flying in today. Alright, so as I stated earlier, we're here at Tinson Pen, and this is the Freeware airport by Chris Z, designed for FSX. And what you're looking at here is a brand new livery by my good buddy NovaWing24. This is the JDF A8 livery, which just so happens to fit the real-life version of this aircraft. This is, of course, the Diamond DA40. Jamaica bought a couple of these for the Jamaican Defence Force to use for patrols and so on and so forth, and NovaWing had the brilliant idea of trying to replicate it here in Flight Sim World. He did everything, including the thumbnails. I don't know when he's going to make it available, but when he does, you can rest assured that within the links will be a link to where you can download this aircraft. Now, I had mentioned that head tracking is back in the game. Here's what I mean. Ta-da! FaceTrackNOIR. Longtime viewers of this channel should remember that I started out by using FaceTrackNOIR as opposed to using the regular TrackIR. Folks, I'm here to tell you this thing works straight out of the box. All I had to do was just basically plug it in and it works. My webcam had not worked for a long time, but I was able to get it fixed. Big thanks to Brian, the IT guy at work. Thank you for that. Alright, so let's get into this aircraft. So Update 7 brought cold and dark starts with this little checklist. You'll notice that I just clicked on the manual and it popped open here. Alright, so we're going to put it in advanced mode so that way it doesn't take away my camera control. And we're going to go through the checklist real quick. So the first item here is going to be the prop pitch. It's kind of misleading. It says RPM level. It really should say prop pitch or something along those lines. Mixture is already lean. Master battery, we're going to go ahead and click that on. Notice it highlights the switch for you so you can see what you're doing. Alright, so that's on. You can see the Garmin's coming to life. Electrical fuel pump. That's on the right hand side, more in the center of your screen there. We'll click that on, so the fuel pump is running. Throttle, we're going to set the throttle to 15%. I can probably just move that and gauge where that is on my SceneryTech, so we're good there. Mixture has to go rich for 3 to 5 seconds, so I'll pull that up manually and pull it back down, and that should be good. We can check mark that. Throttle supposed to be at 5%. Basically, what they're saying is keep it in the idle position. And then ignition, we can start it like so. No more Control E, folks. Look at that. One time, one start. I love it. Thank you, DoveTail. We've needed a checklist for a long time. Now all we need is Bitching Betty to help me with the checklist. Alright, I'm kidding. Alright, mixture control lever. That needs to go rich. Not a problem. Just slide that up there. Electric fuel pump can be turned off. There we go. And and the master switch, otherwise known as the alternator switch, will flip you on, and then finally the avionics master just to the left of that alternator switch. Okay, so give it a couple of seconds and the MFD will come to life, so we can get rid of our checklist. We're done with that. Perfect. And you'll notice the little model of the checklist goes back in a little glove box in the side there. Alright, now, our startup screen on the Garmin, we need to click the far right button, and as you can see, that will give us our nifty little traveling map. We can also click that out by the usual method, Shift 2, I believe it is. We can zoom out and you can see our flight plan. So there we go. We're going due northwest to Boscobel. Nice short trip. Probably about, what is it, about 26 miles, if that much, something like that. Alright, so we'll zoom it back in and I will go ahead and close this window. And now that we've got the aircraft started, I would say it is going to be about time for us to get going. But before we do, let's see if we can get some lights on in this piece here. These switches, I don't know, they could be a little bit different because I can't exactly see when it's on and when it's off. And incidentally, DoveTail, also the G1000 could use a bit more backlighting because I noticed when the shadows are on it, it doesn't look all that bright. Okay, looks like we got our taxi light on and our position light should also be on. I don't see any traffic to the right or the left, so I think we're pretty much set to go. Brakes off here, and I believe we are going to taxi to runway 14 or 14, which is going to be off to the left hand side. So make a quick turn here. It feels so good, folks, having head tracking back. FaceTrackNOIR, how I have missed you. Although our relationship is probably not going to be long lasting because I do plan on getting the Oculus Rift within the next couple of weeks. Let's go to the outside view for now. Alright, we should be at the runway momentarily. One thing I should mention, when adding the sceneries in, I did notice that at least with Chris's scenery, I had to add some exclusion zones in there so that way the default buildings would not show through. I don't know if that's par for the course for all sceneries that you try to add to Flight Sim World, but just kind of keep that in mind that it may be an issue. There may be some conflict between the buildings and also between the elevations. I haven't quite figured that out as of yet. But here we are at runway 14, so let me go ahead and put the emergency brake on, and I should probably get the rest of the lights on. So let me see, strobe, we're going to turn you on, and landing, actually I think I just turned the landing lights off. Okay, there we go, landing lights are on. I do have that bound to my joystick, so I could probably just use that and that would be fine. Alright, let me make sure everything else checks out here. No traffic to the left. I do have some AI aircraft flying, however, the ATC voice is turned off, so I can't really hear if they're coming in or not. And nothing to the right. Okay, so it looks like we are clear. And dang, that evening sky just looks so beautiful. Alright, brakes off, and we'll position and hold here. Take another look here, just to be on the safe side. I also have the labels turned off. Alright, I think we're good to go. So we'll push ourselves into position. And just to remind you, all of the default aircraft that come with Flight Sim World have AccuFeel installed by default. So you'll hear like brake noises and so on and so forth. The ground handling becomes a little bit different than if AccuFeel is not involved, which I do turn it off, by the way, for the add-on aircraft that I have. And this is what I was explaining earlier. You'll notice that the G1000 looks a little bit dark. DoveTail, we need some backlighting on that. All right, but brakes down, throttles up time. Now, just to remind you that the Jamaica that I'm using here is built this way because of the fact that I have SceneryTech's North American Landclass, which all the Caribbean islands are considered a part of North America. So that's why all the buildings are kind of packed in. The default does not quite look like this, but hopefully DoveTail will upgrade the Landclass a little bit for all of the continents of the world, so that way everything looks a bit more, I guess realistic is probably the best word to describe it here. Alright, as soon as we get feet wet here, in other words over the bay, we are going to hang a left and go over downtown Kingston before picking up our GPS track. I think I should have everything set to utilize the autopilot and everything else. So, alright, we are feet wet now. We'll go ahead and make our turn. Dang, just look at that. That is beautiful. You can still see where there's some buildings a little bit out of place, but I really cannot blame DoveTail for that. That's the add-on that I'm running currently. However, the building models and the tree models, that's all the default Orbix stuff that comes with Flight Sim World. The Landclass file just basically tells the sim where to put everything, so there we go. Alright, so there's Tinson Pen. We're going to run parallel to Tinson Pen, and we should be able to pick up our track just as soon as we pass the airport and that little quote-unquote dry dock, as I keep calling it. I'm thinking that's supposed to be water, but I don't believe Chris Z has fixed that as of yet, so we get what we get. However, the major thing that I wanted to show off to you guys today is from the latest update of Flight Sim World, and that is the sky. Look at these clouds and tell me this does not look realistic. Well, with the exception of this little area right here that seems to be swirling in and out like somebody just summoned the devil or something like that. But other than that, this is really awesome. I dare say that this sky rivals DCS. And I've had some serious issues with DCS clouds over the last few updates. I don't think they've really done anything to improve them. But just look at how the lighting and the clouds interplay there. It is just awesome. The only thing that's really missing here, DoveTail, are the cloud shadows and, of course, the God rays. But other than that, I am extremely impressed by what TrueSKY has added for this flight sim. Totally awesome. Alright, we have our autopilot on now, so the nav hold is currently on, and I'm going to put the altitude hold on momentarily. I'm trying to see if I can get us up to about 5,000 feet, because I believe that should be just below the cloud deck so that we can take a really good look at these floating behemoths as we go past them here. Alright, we are almost there. Almost. And it looks like we're also almost on track too. So you can see like the outskirts of Kingston off to the left there. Alright, here we go. 5,000. And whoa, I didn't realize I dropped that much speed. I actually didn't have my throttle to full throttle. I had it about 80 or 85% there. But we'll pick up speed. We should be good to go now that we are stable. So there we go. Look at that in the distance though. The atmospheric scattering and the lighting is just absolutely incredible. Now I should also mention that right now dynamic weather is not a part of the sim. However, I have been assured that that will be coming soon. So pretty soon we'll be able to see what the real weather is like. Folks, I can't even begin to tell you just how happy I am that FaceTrackNOIR works again. Like I said, it was an issue that I was having in my computer. It actually came to light when I was working on the latest FSX episode, which, by the way, still is not complete. I just lost like all of my USB drivers, so I had to take it to work, and luckily, like I said, my buddy Brian, the IT guy, fixed it for me. And I really didn't expect for my webcam to start working, but I'm really glad that it did, because, yeah, this makes a world of difference. Of course, that'll all change once I get the Oculus Rift, but like I said, that'll be coming soon. In any event, let's get back to the beauty that has been offered by DoveTail Games with the inclusion of TrueSKY. Granted, it's just a starting place, but look at that. The clouds have definition. The underside of the clouds, you can see the variations in color, which is pretty much exactly what they look like in real life. As far as the whole swirling mass thing, I'm thinking the program or whatever is causing that animation might be set a little too fast. So maybe if they scale it back a little bit so it's, you know, not so quick on the draw, so to speak, it might actually look a bit more realistic. I could see stuff like that happening in the case of massive thunderstorms and, you know, really high winds and whatnot. So it should stay in there. It just needs to be tweaked a little bit. But I can't tell you just how excited I am for when they actually start bringing real-world weather interfacing into this here. Look at that. We got a little bit of lens flare in there too. That is so awesome. I'm waiting to see what the sun looks like when it peaks out. Although I will say I'm looking at my DX story right now, and it does say I'm losing a little bit of frame, so I'm not sure what's up with that. I imagine this is not optimized as of yet. So yeah, I kind of expect a little frame loss. Hey, look, there's the sun. Whoa, whoa, and yes, we definitely have a little bit of frame drop there. Okay, not sure what's causing that. Okay, it looks like whatever was causing the issue with the frame drop appears to have subsided. So, yeah, beta is beta. Alright, let's see where we are. Let's go ahead and pop open the GPS. Okay, GPS is open and we are almost there. I am zoomed out to about 30 nautical miles, so yeah, we're about 15 miles away from Boscobel. When we get to about between 10 and 5 miles, I'll begin our descent. We're only at 5,000, so really we shouldn't need to worry too much about how quickly it's going to take us to get to the deck. Aside from which, since we're going to have to land to the east, what I plan on doing is overflying the airport, going out to sea, and then we'll turn inwards. Oh, look at the Blue Mountain. Oh, that is so awesome. Look at that. The peak is covered by the clouds there. Can you see that? That is so cool. I can only imagine what larger mountains look like the Himalayas or the Alps and so on and so forth. Needless to say, I'm going to have to do some more experiments with other things such as snow and rain. Oh my god, folks, you need to see what the snow looks like. I think for the next video I'll do an experiment in wintertime so that way you can see what snow looks like. It is amazing. Alright, I can see a tanker out there, and I'm pretty sure that our airport is just beyond that hill, so we should be there momentarily. Like I said, pretty much just a short hop here. I didn't want to take a whole heck of a lot of time, but I did want to, at least give you some impression as to how this sim has been evolving. And I have to give DoveTail some serious props right now because their cadence with these updates is incredible. They have been coming up with these updates really, really quickly, and I thank you so much for that, DoveTail. Keep it up. Now all you need to do is fix nighttime. Okay, let's see how much closer we are to our destination here. I want to say we should be at top of descent right about now. But of course, in order to verify that, we're going to need to pop open the GPS. Okay, yeah, we're about within 10 miles. Actually, whoa, we're closer than that. Okay, yeah, we should definitely think about doing our descent sometime in the very, very near future. I think what I'll do is I'll pull us a little bit closer to that hill. Alright, you know what? I think now would probably be a good time to start our descent. So autopilot, altitude hold is off. We'll pitch down. I'm not going to get all scientific with it here, folks. I just want to make sure that I land at Boscobel. So we will use our engine as a guide here. Pull the throttle back. And we'll listen to her purr, because what's the point of having really awesome, realistic sounds in there if you don't train your ears to listen for what you need to hear when you're on approach. Alright, but there's our airport up ahead. I hope my exclusion zones took. Yeah, it looks like they did. I can only see the big blue building at Boscobel. There were some other gray hangars that were on top of it, which is not exactly correct. But yeah, it looks like the changes that I made did take effect. So Chris Z, if you happen to be watching this and you're thinking about in the future maybe making your scenery official for Flight Sim World, hook up with me and I'll get you the versions that I've been using for Flight Sim World now. Alright, so we got Oracabessa up ahead and to the right. Got a beautiful sunset in the making there. And yeah, I think for the next video I'll continue the experiments with weather here. We'll try to do some inclement weather, some winter weather, and I'll show you what I meant earlier about nighttime. Right now, it is an improvement. The original nighttime that DoveTail had in there was just black. That was it. You couldn't see a dang thing. If you go back to my very first video on Flight Sim World, the one that was actually a live stream, you'll see what I mean. You can't see crap. However, with TrueSKY added in there, the nighttime has taken a very dramatic turn. While you can see the clouds and of course the lighting that generally shines underneath the clouds, you know, when the city lights, the street lights are shining up above. However, the downside to what DoveTail has done with nighttime here is now midnight looks like dusk. Clearly, some more work is needed here. Midnight still needs to look like midnight. However, we're going to need things like the moon phases and so on and so forth. But with that being said, just remember, this is the first iteration of TrueSKY being added to Flight Sim World, so we can expect a whole host of a lot of changes coming. And I'm going to turn downwind here. So liberating being able to just turn my head and, you know, see exactly where I'm going. And if you're wondering what that discoloration is, that's part of the orthophoto that Chris Z used for Boscobel. It's not perfect. You can tell where the edge of his scenery is, but I've been trying to see if I can do some color correction just to kind of help him out there. Obviously, I'm not done as of yet. Okay, hey, look, we got some ships there. And incidentally, if there were helicopters in Flight Sim World, see that yacht off to the left there over by my little circular window? You can land on that. Just saying. Just saying. I don't know when we're getting helicopters, though. Alright, flaps are down. I'm only going to put flaps down 1 notch, because honestly, we can get really low and slow with this sucker, so we're not going to need much more than that. I'm going to keep my speed right around in the center. Okay, now would be a good time to turn to final. Look at those Orbix trees. I love those Orbix trees. Alright, looks like we're doing good. We'll shallow out just a touch here. Okay, so far so good. Let's go ahead and swing her around. I don't have to worry about putting the gear down because the DA40 has fixed landing gear. Awesome. Okay, we're just about lined up, so it's time for me to go outside to the official BelGeode landing camera just to make sure that we're in good stead. We're a little high on glide slope, but I will fix that. Okay, we are on short final. So let's pull her up just a touch here. Got to lose a little bit more airspeed. Now we're below the glide slope, but we should be fine. Should be able to just float her down onto the piano keys. Not too shabby, if I should say so myself. Of course, I have done better, but hey, you know, this airport has a very challenging approach there. Oy, and it's this thing again. I'm not even going to say anything. Alright, I believe this is our turn-off here, so we will turn off and find a really good parking spot, and then we can call this experiment done and successful. So, key takeaways here. FaceTrackNOIR works flawlessly with Flight Sim World, straight out of the box. You don't even need to download any additional settings or anything. It works on the default settings. Perfect. Alright, I'm going to pick this as my parking spot here, so we'll just follow the line and park on the T, even though the line's a little crooked there. We won't worry too much about that. Okay, right here seems good enough, so we'll hit the parking brakes. Love being able to move my head. There we go. Alright, brakes are on, so we'll do the shutdown checklist, which honestly, there's not much to it. Basically, you turn off everything you turned on. So we'll feather the prop, and we will put our mixture to lean, which will of course kill the engine. There we go. And now we can start turning everything off. So at this point in time, I want to thank you all for watching. As always, this has been BelGeode. I have been flying in DoveTail Games Flight Sim World. This is post episode 8, so we now have TrueSKY, and we also have checklists. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please feel free to give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. Huge thank you to NovaWing24 for this livery for the default DA40. And don't forget, if you are looking for a really cool way to do head tracking, pick up FaceTrackNOIR. It's only $3 US and you're helping the developer. That's it from me, folks. See you on the next one. Ciao!